that I have today isn't available for the organization. So what happens? Are they able to meet their goals? For instance, when we have a management meeting, I always get this feedback that what I do, drives the success or the failure of the entire project which we are working on, right? So that puts a lot of responsibility on how I see my career. So if I'm evaluating my career at that point, I know the importance that my responsibilities on the job play, right? And also gives me a right to do what? To negotiate for salary increase. And uh, so if uh, if I had the conversation when I had the conversation of, okay, this is the position I think I'm interested in, and I had that conversation with the HR. That was last month, and the HR was able to push that to the management, and they said, okay, fine, let's have a catch up with friends. And when I had that catch up, it was a 15 minutes call, and at the end of the day, I got the offer to move to that role because I was able to outline my skill set, the value I'm bringing, and what I can actually do more to ensure that the organization achieves its success. And it was an easy one to do that. So when you're doing self-evaluation in terms of what you think you are bringing in what your what uh, to rightly put this self-evaluation has to do with your skill set and the value you are bringing into the organization, and how does that drive success. And you are looking at it not just from the short-term perspective, also from the long-term perspective. If you are able to answer that, then you can make a case for a negotiation. That can also happen even when you are getting a job too, right? I know for a sure when we do some recruitment, there are some candidates that you meet and they insist on a salary that is even above the budget for the role, and the business, after all consideration, decides, okay, this person, because we want this talent, we don't have any choice but to increase the salary. Sometimes it's even 2 times the budget for that role. So it depends on the value, the skill set that you have, because the business wants to meet they want to meet their target or even supersede it, right? So if you are that person that has the skill set, the experience that can achieve that, definitely you have a conversation. But what is very unfortunate is that sometimes we want to negotiate salary, and that value is not seen, right? So it becomes a difficult conversation when you're asking for, okay, I want to be paid 400,000, I want to be paid, 500,000 net, and you are pushing for that negotiation. And if you are, let's say you are in an interview, and the recruiters, they are looking at the skill set, the experience that you have. Is that enough for us to be able to push our budget up, right? If the answer is no, of course they are not going to. That conversation is not going to happen. So that is why it's very important for you to upskill yourself, get the right experience, and on the job, don't focus on activity, focus on the key result. And that is why even when I want to share my profile anywhere I go, I focus on the numbers, I focus on the impact that I made, not just my activities, so that when you are seeing it, you see the key areas that I've been able to drive value in the organization. So if you are doing your self-evaluation, focus on the impact that the value that you are bringing to the organization. That will help you, that will convince you to negotiate salary, even if it's for a new job or where you currently are. So for the next question, what are the steps to follow for career growth? So the answer to this question is, I think for any individual who is bothered by this question, the first thing is you want to find out for yourself, what do you really want, right? If you know what you want in terms of from the short-term to long-term perspective, I started my career as a CV writer. I know that writing is something that I do very well. However, I see that there could be other things that in terms of growth, this is where I want to be. I want to be managing youth-based programs, right? So when I was doing CV writing, when there was an opportunity to for marketing team to get a cross-functional team member who could support them in career services. I opted in, I was job shadowing in marketing while I was doing my career writing, while I was still doing CV writing services for Jobberman. Along the line, when the department for youth engagement was created in Jobberman, by stroke of luck, I was the person who had a better experience because the ones who were in the marketing doing that same job with me had already left. So it was an opportunity for me to grow, right? It would have been difficult if all that I had been doing was just writing, CV writing. You see that because what happens most times is that we don't identify growth because we are comfortable with what we already have. So growth happens when you see a lot of opportunities connecting to what you are currently doing or being open for you to learn. Because I will also share a personal story. In 2018, I was given a short task to join the sales team to upsell CV services while I was still a CV writer. When that information came across, I was not happy with it, and I had a lot of arguments with my line manager, and what he told me was that, why don't I just give it a shot? If writing is something I do very well, then I should be able to do any other thing if I can, put in effort. And I tried it. I was able to make some sales. That that increased my value for the organization. For instance, if CV services had to shut down at that point in time in Jobberman, I could be a salesperson because I already developed another skill set. So most times growth may not necessarily happen because you are currently doing one thing. For instance, if I were to continue being a writer, am I going to be the chief writing officer for Jobberman, right? So you also come from the point of looking at what you are doing and seeing what are the growth levels for it. There are some positions that may be ending at an entry level point or a mid-level point, because if there is no proper transition plan for it in that organization. So look, for you to grow in your career, you need to be open to a lot of opportunities will always be there, trust me, in every organization. But what happens is that because we are too comfortable, we love what we do so much, we are so passionate about it that even when the opportunity comes, we rather stay where we are, where it's comfortable, than to learn and to grow. So be open to opportunities, seek, apart from scaling yourself, try as much as possible to learn new things. It's always great. Like I've tried a whole lot of new things, and that has helped lot in my career growth. And it's very, very easy for you to grow in career. I say this because in terms of my years of experience, I'm not even close to having 4 years of experience in my career. By June, I'll be 4 years. I would have had like 4 years experience in my career. However, I've looked at the levels of growth that I've been able to achieve within these 3 years and some months, right? It couldn't have happened if I didn't seize every opportunities that come my way. And the last one will be, how do I rise to the top of my organization fast? This same thing, this question connects to the second one, right? How do you rise? If you see an opportunity and you seize it, definitely you'll be able to get that opportunity. Because when I was even a CV writer, what also helped me was that, for the professionals I do their CV, one thing is always certain. Like when you see the ones who rise very fast in their career, when you see the kind of accomplishment they had, you understand how easy for you. Every organization just wants value. They don't want activities, right? There's a reporting format we use in my organization when we want to share feedback to management. We use a PPP model, like your progress, your plans, and your problems. Now, the first one, which is that progress, everybody's just interested in the numbers, like what value had what were you able to achieve within the week, right? It's very significant. Values, that's what organizations are interested. Nobody cares about how many hours you spend on activities and all of that. What they just want is result, and that's what will keep you growing. Another thing too that is also important, if you must rise to the top, is stakeholder management. Now, internal stakeholder management is very important as well as external stakeholder management. By internal stakeholder management, how do you collaborate with your team, both your cross-functional team and your own team members? Because that helps a lot for you to
see to push on it.
sorry,
So give
is that
me
feedback coming from?
education
Yeah, so for you to
and training committee.
uh okay, grow in your career, you should be able to manage, you should be able to collaborate very effectively with your team, both your cross-functional team and your internal team, because when you're about to be promoted, definitely in most organizations, there will be always be a 360 feedback coming from people who you have worked with, how you're able to manage their expectations, how you're able to relate with them. So if you are, sorry, if you're going to rise to a manager or even a senior manager or even at a C-suite level, all this feedback system would have taken place. And it couldn't have been possible for you to rise if you were not able to, to manage internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders. So it's very important for you to be able to manage stakeholders very well. And the last but not the least is your social skills. It's very important, right? As much as possible, when you are from entry level to mid level, your technical skills are really important as just as your social skills. But from the mid level down to the top, we are looking at the C-suite level, right? You have to have a great soft skill. Like your soft skills has to be very, 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 very great, because if you don't have at that point in time, it's no longer technical skills that is really important. You need to have soft skills, social skills, and also business skills as well, regardless of whether you are a technical person or not. So I used to tell people in IT, right, that it's great if you understand how and you grow, like you have all the skill set that is required as an information technology expert. However, you cannot grow in your career if you don't understand business technology, if you don't understand the business side of IT, because that is what takes you to the management level. Because at that point in time, you are not just making technical decisions, you are not making business decisions. You are using your IT experience to drive business decisions so that if decision making has a level of accuracy, but you cannot make that decision if you only have technical, but if you only have technical knowledge. You also need to have the business knowledge. Thank you. I'm sure my answers have been quite long, but I just needed to explain all of that. Thank you, Seyi.
All right, thank you, Prince. I appreciate that. Just 1 minute or thereabout. I would like just to listen to Mr. Olanrewaju. Mr. Olanrewaju, please, what do you have to say around that? May just say
thank you very much, Seyi. I think he's done justice to it, so I'll just give you one-line responses. Career self-evaluation and
at least from finance perspective.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can.
Okay. So,
yes, I said from finance perspective.
Yeah. So for the first question, my own is to say, what determines the price tag is the value you are bringing to the table. So as an individual, you must be very skillful. You must be technically okay. You must be, you must have other skills, other soft skills apart from being technical, and you must be digital savvy. That is what will determine your price tag. It's not by what you carry. It's what value are you bringing to the table? What stuff are you made up of? That determines, your price tag. To the extent the organization will say, no. We just have to get the guy at all cost. Then talking about steps to follow for career growth. When I talk about growth personally to my team or to my colleagues generally, I tell people, you can either grow tall or you grow fast, but just make sure that you are growing. When I say growing tall, I'm saying move, along your career path, move from one level to another higher level and all that, And what also enables you to do this movement, it's your personal development and the result you are bringing to the table. Again, you can also decide to grow fast, which is just saying, okay, there's no opportunity for me to grow up, but at this level I am, can I embrace rotation? Can I do what another colleague is doing? Do some form of job enrichment, like the HR people, we call it. By so doing, you are growing fast. That is one of the things that have helped me, to becoming a CFO and to have attained whatever I've attained, because I embraced rotation at some point in my career. And that made me very broad, that made me very deep and technical in the way I approach finance-related activities. Then you also mentioned, what do you need to rise up fast? For me, I think it's visibility. You must be very visible in your organization. You must understand the business. You must crave for results. Don't just come and talk about activity and efforts. Result is what counts. Make yourself visible to the management and to your colleague. Contribute. Create time for ad hoc activities that are not in your job description. They want to do a project, volunteer. Showcase what you have and be very visible. You will see how you will grow and all that. Some people are good, they are made up of stuff, but people don't see them. They don't volunteer. They are just, minding their business. Just do what is stated in the CV. If you do that, you can grow fast in any organization. Thank you very much, Seyi.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Olanrewaju. Sincere appreciation for that. Let's move to the next question. These are 3 questions in one, following the trend. Post-MBA, this person is asking, post-MBA, how to harness the phase to move to the next level for career progression? So that's the question there. The other question is, what can be done? I'm stuck in my career, trying to get a new job in the finance industry. What else can be done again to get a desired job? And the last one is, I'm a chartered accountant, let me qualify. What can I do to head an account department of organization? So I'll allow Biola to answer just the first part. Okay, let me say first and second. Okay, this is talking about finance industry. I'll allow Biola to speak to the first question, and then I'll call on her. I think she's off the line. If she doesn't come online before then, Dr. Olanrewaju will help us with response to the next 2 questions. Please go ahead, Biola, please. Thank you.
Okay, Seyi. So post-MBA, how to harness the phase to move to the next level for career progression. I think a lot of times people often make the mistake of thinking that what you need is, you need to have a lot of certificates, get an MBA for you to be able to move to the next level. I think Mr. Olanrewaju said something earlier on. It's what value would you be bringing to the table? There are so many people with MBA certificates going around town without a proper job, without a job. The thing is, you need to ask yourself, what are the needed skills? What are the skills that are needed in the market right now? What are those competencies that I need for me to be able to land a good job or be able to move up the career and my career actually. So you need to ask yourself, am I well equipped to be able to progress in my career? The skills that I have or the competencies that are required in my career path for me to move on to the next stage. Do I have those skills? Do I have those competencies? If the answer is yes, then you are actually on the right path. If the answer is no, then what you have to do is look for trainings. Look for trainings that can help you build build competencies in those areas. So I think that's very, very important for everyone to understand. It's not just enough for you to have your MBA certificate. It's what then do you do with it? What are the skills that you need for you to move on? What are those skills that are needed right now? You would agree with me that post-COVID, there were some skills that were in high demand. But now, and pre-COVID rather, there were skills that were in high demand. But now post-COVID, there are some skills that have actually gone to extinction. So what are those skills that are required right now for me to be able to move on? You need to ask yourself, and then where am I likely to get those skills or build those competencies? If you have to volunteer in an organization that you think is in line with whatever career path that you've chosen for yourself, then you volunteer your services. If you need to get a coach or you need to get a mentor to help you build some of those skills or those needed competencies, then you identify a good mentor, a good coach that would help you along that line. Seyi, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much. Abisola, Adefarati is not online yet. So Dr. Olanrewaju, please can you help us with the next 2 questions?
Okay,
thank you
very much. Yeah. What can be done? I am stuck in my career trying to get a new job in the finance industry. What else can be done again to get a desired job? You know, for me, if I'm to respond to this, I would say, first of all, you must be ready to take a risk. If you are tired in the job you do, what it simply means is that you may not be adding so much value. And what everybody has been saying this morning is that what value are you bringing to the table? What value do you want to add? You know, and that's what employers are paying for. So I think if you get stuck and you are trying to move, you know, out of what you are currently doing, my advice will be to you to take a move, take a risk. Even if it take you 1 month, 2 months to get sorted, it would be nice than just going to the office and not adding the desired value. That's what I would say. If you are stuck, you think you need a fresh air, and as you're currently looking for another thing, you are not making an headway, you may need to take some rest, you may need to take a break, you know, to be able to sort yourself and move into another role. Then the other question, I'm a chartered accountant, newly qualified. What can I do to become the head of department? Very simple. A leader is the head of any department. You need to develop your leadership skill. It doesn't matter whether you are a newly qualified. I remember I was made a supervisor just like a year or thereabout when I qualified as a chartered accountant, you know, heading people that have 4 or 5 years experience. So all you need to do is to showcase, one, your technical ability and leadership skill, being able to carry people along, being able to work with people, you know, understanding the business, upskill yourself personally, do self-evaluation like we mentioned earlier on to determine your weakness area and improve on those areas. And ultimately, you know, develop your leadership skill, put people together, call them, we've been asked to do this thing. How do you show some leadership skill and lead by example? By so doing, you will be spotted, and then, I mean, you get the headship position as you're asking for. That's how I will respond to that. Thank you.
Very much. So we have the next question that speaks to why even some people, so it says, the question says, how to become a CFO? Dr. Olanrewaju, you've been, I mean, an experienced CFO, well-known, well-recognized. And this is a question that some really want answers for, and they would like to hear from you directly. So, I mean, how to become a CFO? You can just marry the first and second together. I mean, I understand that for you to become CFO, it's expected of you that you'd have gotten some level of financial controller, you know, experience and all that. So how do you attend to, I mean, we just like to hear from you. How should this person be guided? How to become a CFO? And the next question, I just marry 2 questions together, the first 2. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Like people say, preparation should precede opportunity. Becoming a CFO is not a magic, and it's not an impossible task. All you need to do is to prepare for it. Set a goal for yourself and be clear about the goals, you know, and you get there. Now, I mentioned preparation precedes opportunity. How do you need to prepare to becoming a CFO? Number 1, you must be technical. Number 2, you must understand the business that you are in, because at CFO level, you are not only doing accounting job. Gone are the days where CFO are figure crunchers. All they do is finance. All they do is how to balance account. But we have moved on. CFO now are business catalysts. They are business partners. They are the next in command to the CEO. So as a CFO, you need to understand what leadership is all about. You need to understand the business. You need to understand how to lead people for results. You need to understand you need to have interpersonal relationship, how to be able to deal with your CEO and other executives to be able to achieve your financial targets. You know, so all this, you have to be preparing yourself for it. You need to learn from your superior, the current CFO. You need to move close to them. You need to see how they think. Most CFOs, they don't just think figure, they think business. And that's what has happened over time, because the paradigm has shifted. It's not, we have gone beyond the days of the account must balance. All the CFO should do is to prepare financial statement. There is a lot of other skill that should be added, and you must learn. We also suggest that you have a mentor. I have a mentor CFO. I had one when I was going through that line. And when things happen, I go and meet him. So how would you solve this? And you'll be hearing perspective. You'll be seeing how they reason, because ultimately, like I said, they are next to the CEO. The success of the business as a whole is what is paramount to the CFO, and not just to put the figures together. So you must prepare for it. You must look forward to it. And one way to preparing for it, is that one, you must be good technically. You must know a bit of treasury. You must know a bit of tax management. You must know a bit of reporting, because as a CFO, you are supposed to be an all-rounder. You may not be having in-depth technical knowledge in all those things, but at least you must have fair knowledge of them, because you will eventually be the leader and everything will stop on your table. So that's what I would say. Prepare for it, have a clear goal, learn from people, and embrace leadership skills, embrace a business partnering skill, and strategic skill, because at that point it's all strategy and not only figure crunching. Then how do I effectively work as a financial controller in this new era of remote working? Now, first thing I will say to that is that remote working has come to stay. This is how I've been working from home since November last year, and nothing is missing, nothing has broken. In fact, we have reported a more favorable time and all that. So one, as a CFO, you must trust people in this remote working. You must trust people, because you are not going to be seeing those physical documents that we are used to seeing. What you see now is somebody has scanned document here and there. You must trust, you must be able to coordinate your team very well. And when you give tasks, you must allocate delivery time, because everybody is scattered. And that's why you see that most of us are occupied with meeting from morning till night, almost on a daily basis. Because what we used to do in the office before by saying, hey, bros, come and help me do this, and it's done. Now you don't see them. The only way you can bring them together is by meeting. Are you with me? And the only way for you to drive result and efficiency as an FC is to ensure that when tasks are given, you put a timeline, you put delivery time, so that you're able to track results and you're able to track efficiency. And whatever the team is doing, at the end of the day, stop on your own table. So if you don't coordinate the activities very well by allocating time, calling for meeting where necessary, you may not be able to be efficient during this era. People use a lot of tools, to do this. They use Outlook to say this is important, you're supposed to deliver this time, so that they use that to also track their team member. Yeah. People also use stuff like a Slack, that they use for project management, to manage team for efficiency. But like I said, as an FC, you need to have trust in your team member, because you won't see physical paper and all that anymore.
My people will always say
hello, are you guys hearing me? I think there's an interference somewhere.
So, yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
I think by using some of these digital tools and all that, like now, for instance, most of my signatures are done through PDF signature. That's the way I sign PO. That's the way I sign contract now. So you must learn to trust, but also ensure that you put controls in place to prevent abuse and fraud, as the case may be. But work efficiently, allocate resources very well, call your team into meetings, put delivery time, and ensure that is followed through all the way. Those are some of the things you can do now in this our remote working condition as financial controller. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Sincerely appreciate it. So I'll take Abisola Adefarati. She's back. So Abisola, please, let's hear your view on this. You're also an experienced CFO, well recognized and well respected in that regard. So let's hear from you, Abisola. Thank you.
Okay, I think Dr. Seyi has done a lot of justice to the question. But I'm just going to add a few points on the first question about how to become a CFO, right? I think especially when you're starting out, don't focus on becoming a CFO, right? Focus on the job that you have today and make sure that you're delivering over 100% on that job, right? So I'm not a CFO now. What am I now? Say, for example, I'm a finance executive today. The way that I become a CFO is by doing that financial executive role so well that I get the next promotion or the next opportunity. And sometimes you're not always going to get promotions back to back. Sometimes it may be lateral opportunities that allows you to get the breadth of experience so that that day when you finally become a CFO, you're going to be ready. Don't forget, there's still a lot of mistrust around, especially multinationals, having Nigerians or sometimes even Africans as their finance directors, right? So you want to be someone who's known to have the highest levels of integrity. Do not compromise, right? You will still make money. When you finally become that CFO, you would make money. So as you continue to grow in your career, make sure your integrity is top notch. Don't ever compromise. I think one of the things that I did when I was growing my career, for example, is when I was the head of treasury for one of the multinationals that I worked for. You know how banks would always come and give you gifts, and when it's your birthday, they will flood you with gifts. Every birthday, I made a decision that I would not be in the office. So whenever it was my birthday, I would stay at home, and I would want them never to bring a gift to my house. If there was any gift that was delivered to the office, I would never take any of the gifts home. I would ask my team to share those gifts, right? If there was anything expensive in the gift and it was one item, I would tell them to do a ballot. Whoever won it will get that gift. So I made sure that I was putting myself out as someone who had high ethics and integrity. Being a CFO is about strategy. It's also about a company committing their financial resources to you. So if they cannot trust you, they wouldn't give you that position. So they must be able to trust you. Make sure that, one, you're going over and beyond expectation on your current role. Do it very well. Do it better than everyone else on the team. Even though you're doing well, make sure you're collaborating. You know, don't be a solo winner. You have to collaborate, because when you become a CFO, you are going to be working with other directors. So the company is looking at you and they're asking themselves that question. Does Bisola work well in a team? Will she be able to work effectively with the MD, other stakeholders that are important when she gets that opportunity? So yes, you're doing excellent work, but you're also doing it having a team mindset in mind, and you're building people. Leadership is about building a team. So at some point, your financial acumen would not be so important, right? It's how do you build other people to also gain the financial acumen that they need, the leadership that they need, the strategic insights that they need to be able to take over from you. So as you start to progress, you focus less on being an individual contributor. You start to focus on building people that are junior to you. How do you support them? How do you help them win? You know, I have this obsession around winning.
Hi, Abisola. Hello, Abisola. Please, can you hear me?
Telegram.
Can
Yes,
anyone
we can.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I guess.
Yes, we can hear you.
I guess it's from my hand. I guess from my hand, and this is really spot on. Wow. Our mic is muted. How come? Hold on,
Competence
please.
and all of that. But add one other thing.
Sorry, Abisola.
Yeah.
Hello, Abisola.
Yes, Seyi.
We lost you at some point. We lost you at some point.
Okay, so let me just repeat. I was saying that I'm sure that doctor would have said, some things about the technical competencies required for, some of these things. So I won't talk on that. But I will mention this. Another thing that I focused on.
No, sorry. Hi, Abisola. Let me bring you up to speed. We lost at the point where you're speaking on integrity, maintaining highest level of integrity. That was where we lost you.
Oh my God, I've said so much. Okay, not a problem.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, okay, so I'm so sorry. So outside of integrity, I spoke about building and developing a team. What I was saying is, yes, one, integrity. Two, you have to always go the extra mile. Don't do your job and give 100%. Give more than 100%, right? What I used to do is, if you give me work in 3 days, I will try to deliver it in 2 days. If you expect me to close an audit in 3 months, I will try to close that audit in 2 months, right? Go over and beyond expectation at all times. That should be your focus. Number 3, you have to work effectively with your teams. Remember, when you become a CFO, you will be working as one of the directors of a company. So that company is looking at you and they're asking themselves the question, will Bisola collaborate effectively when she gets on the leadership team, right? So they're already observing how you work with team members. How effectively do you collaborate with other people to get results? So don't forget the team. And I also said that I've always had the obsession around winning. Okay, whatever I do, I want to win. I want to do it excellently, right? But I told myself early on, winning is not about me. When my team wins, that is when I win, right? So what you would find is, as you continue to invest in your teams, making sure they are winning, the best talent within the organizations would gravitate towards you. When they do, that helps you to deliver excellent results. And of course, multinationals, big companies, whoever you want to work for, they're looking for the best talent that can galvanize people behind the strategy. When they see all these traits in you, when the opportunity comes, trust me, you will get your chance. One final thing that I want to mention is, I was intentional about my career. So I said to myself, one day if I'm going to be finance director, I need to know at least a little about the different areas of finance. So I did not spend too long in audit, okay? As soon as I got my first opportunity to get out of audit, I got out of audit. I did financial control. I did management accounting. I did tax. I did treasury. I was trying to build my base so that final day, so many years later, when I finally become that CFO, I have the breadth of experience that I need, so that when I'm working with my team, I am not confused. When they're talking to me about tax, at least I know a little bit about it. Of course, they can be experts, but I'm not totally confused about what they're saying. So building that breadth of knowledge as well would help you. Not every CFO has it, but I think it will make your life easier if you do.
Wow. Thank you, Abisola. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So for those who are interested in knowing how to become a CFO, you've heard it from two experienced mouths. I mean, those things they've said, I mean, you can go to sleep over them. Thank you so much, Dr. Olanrewaju, and thank you, Abisola, for sharing experience and knowledge with us. So move to the next question here. This person is saying or asking the question, so what do you do when you are developing yourself professionally? I mean, maybe this person has written almost like 3 professional exams, but it's not just landing the correct jobs. So the other question is, what is that one of the important ingredients required to bring into the C-suite beyond technical and soft skills? So I will start with Biola Ojo. Biola Ojo, please, let's hear your view on this. Thereafter, I will just let's hear your view from that. Let's start with you. Thank you, Biola.
Okay, Seyi, thanks. Okay, so what do you do when you are developing yourself professionally, but you are not just landing the correct jobs? Maybe you need to ask yourself some critical questions and be true to yourself. What am I not doing right? Is it that my CV, you might start from looking at your CV. Do you have, is your CV well written? Because that's the first point of contact. When you're pushing yourself out there, it's your CV that goes out ahead of you first. So you need to check whether your CV is actually giving a true picture of who you are and the kind of job that you're looking for. The other thing is, while you are developing yourself professionally and you're not landing the correct job or you're not landing the right job, there are so many options. As against just sitting back and wallowing in self-pity, what you can do is you can also look for, I mentioned that earlier on, look for organizations where you can volunteer your services. While you are doing that, you are also gathering experience. I've done that in the past, and I know that it works. So I always encourage people to do that. So look for how to volunteer your services and you gather experience. And then also leverage on your network, leverage on the people around, leverage the relationships that you have. So we all have access to LinkedIn. We have access. What do we do with our time when we are not working? A lot of us are on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn. We are on social media. So use the social media as well. The people that have encountered and experienced you in the past, or people that you've worked with in the past and seem to be very comfortable around you, I'm sure they'll be more than willing to refer you. So look for those people that you've worked with in the past that can actually refer you. Push out your CV to the right quarters. Ensure you talk to the right people. Identify the kind of organizations that you would want to work with. Look for the major key contact people within those organizations, and then try to look for a way of reaching out to them. So, but while you are doing that, also try to get a mentor or a coach for yourself. So basically just leveraging your network, leveraging the people around you, keep improving and improving yourself, building yourself. A lot of free online resources that you can get, you have access to. If you have the opportunity of going for webinars like this, programs like this, attend those webinars, attend those programs. On this platform already, I think I've had 3 or 4 people that have reached out to me already. So you can also have access to people. So attend seminars, attend webinars, reach out, keep reaching out to people, do a true evaluation of yourself, of your skills, of the competencies that you have, and ensure that the jobs that you're looking for are actually in alignment with the skills that you have at that point in time. Then the second question is, what is that 1 or 2 important ingredients required to break into the C-suite beyond technical and soft skill? I think Dr. Olanrewaju talked about that earlier on. You have to be very visible. You also have to do a lot of stakeholders management. So ensure that you are visible, ensure that you latch on to every opportunity for you to learn. So you are not just trying to build competence in your area only. What you're also trying to do is learn a little bit about everything within the organization. So I remember while I was in a particular organization, in a consulting firm, I made it a point of duty to actually know a little bit about what everybody within the organization was doing. Right from finance, I could come up with my own invoice, I could design, come up with my own receipt. So as against waiting for the finance guy to do that, because I know that would have 1,001 things doing at any point in time, I would volunteer to do it myself, and then I'll take it back to him and tell him, okay, why don't you just proofread this? And if he says it's good, then he'll give me the go ahead to push it out. So I made it a point of duty to ensure that at least I know a little bit about what everybody within the organization is doing. And what was I doing? I was basically preparing myself to get on to that next level. So when an opportunity, of course, came up, the first person that came to mind for all the directors was me. Even though I wasn't the most senior person within the organization, but I was already preparing myself for that particular opportunity. So yes, aside your technical and soft skill, when you see opportunities, you're able to smell opportunities from a distance. Key into those opportunities, show the willingness to learn, take on what's it called, challenges, embrace challenges, and ensure that you follow through on whatever it is that you are doing. Be business-minded too. Remember that at the end of the day, what every employer wants is someone that is not just adding value to the table, but is someone that is also willing to take ownership. So once they see that you have that ownership mentality, trust me, you're on your way to the top. All right, Seyi.
Thank you so much for that. That's really spot on. Thank you. Prince, I don't know, do you want to add one or two things before we move to the next question? Hi, Prince, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. So I will add one or two things. So for the first question, I know the scenario here is that most times you find out that this particular person might have been taking a lot of trainings online without having an opportunity to actually experience or to practicalize what he or she has been trained on. For instance, if you have taken 100 courses or 100 trainings in software development or in digital marketing without having an opportunity, even if it's a volunteer, to be able to practice it, it becomes very difficult for you to get a job. Another scenario is applying to several jobs, regardless of how many trainings that you have taken. If I have met a job seeker that I've applied to more than 1,000 jobs and he never got. And when I looked at his CV and compared it with all the jobs he has been applying for, I know there was no way in the world recruiters would have noticed him. So it's very important, like Biola said, to try to get, even if it's a volunteer role, don't bother being paid. The experience is more important than the training that you have got. It's very important for the recruiter to see that you have been able to have an experience. And another thing, like I mentioned, is that don't look for any job, just look for one job. It's very important. Don't say, let me open up and put in application in any job that I see, but focus on one. It becomes easy for you to land on your job. And on the other question regarding things that you can do beyond technical and soft skills, my own opinion about it is that at the end of the day, whatever skill that you are going to have will fall either as a technical skill or as a soft skill, be it leadership, be it social skills, be it stakeholder management, is either going to fall amongst these two. So I'm just saying to say that you need both your technical and your soft skills to be able to get to the C-suite level, right? You ought to have built up yourself, and at that point in time, like I mentioned earlier on, your social skills is quite more important than even your technical skills, because you are not just, you already have the experience, but you need to be able to manage a lot of people, and you can't do that without social skills. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prince. Our time is fast spent, but what we want to do now is to listen to participants that are online, that are on this call. So I'm going to give room to people to ask questions. Please, if you have any question to ask, I would really appreciate if you can use your virtual hand, just raise your virtual hand, then I'll call on you. Our time is fast spent, so we really want to maximize the time and don't take. We started late though because of the fact that we had issue with the logistics connecting and all that. But if you have a question, just raise your virtual hand, then they will pick it up from that. If you have any question, just raise your virtual hand, they will pick it from that. All right, thank you. So while I wait for that question from our attendees, participants, there's a question here that I feel we need to take a look at. So the question is this. All right, so this person is asking, what are the steps to take to switch career when resources are limited or not available? And the person is also asked, how can I grow my career with a low income? Or how can I advance in my career with a low income? The last one is, should career growth be horizontal or vertical? Although I really don't understand that part. Should it be horizontal or vertical? There are so many ways to interpreting that. But then I'll give room for us to, say one or two things around this. Let me start with Dr. Olanrewaju. Dr. Olanrewaju, what do you have to say to this, please?
Okay, for the first one, what are the steps to take to switch career when resources are limited or not available? I don't understand what you mean by resources, because to change career is easy, Now I'm an accountant in the banking industry. I want to move to, say, maybe a telecoms industry within finance. That should be pretty easy, because whatever role you are doing in the bank, you can go and mirror the same role in telecoms company as a finance person. Like I tell people, finance and accounting is general. The principle we apply is the same in any industry and any organization you find yourself. All you just need to know when you do this change is to understand the peculiarity of the industry, you understand, and apply accounting principle, and that's all. For instance, in a bank, the major revenue in a bank is, say, interest income, you understand. In telecoms, is money they have made from airtime or data and what have you. So the way we treat revenue is the same across industry. All you just need to understand is that industry and what constitutes revenue, income, asset, and what have you in that particular industry. Then again, another thing I think you should also consider in switching career is your flair. What is making you to want to do that switch? Is it because you study accounting and you are currently doing marketing and you think going back to accounting will be more convenient and favorable to you? You need to identify that objective and clear it, you understand? If not, that switch may not be easy. But in terms of resources, I want to believe that maybe what you are referring here is maybe skill training that you need and all that. I mean, there are a lot of trainings online these days that you don't need any resources other than internet to be able to key in. Except you are here and you are able to throw more light on what you mean by resources, then I'll be able to add more points. On the second one, how can I grow my career with low income? Or how can I advance my career with a low income? We have said it over time here that add value. If you add value, what determines price tag is value. If you add value enough where you are in terms of delivery, like Abisola said, going above board, putting over 100% to whatever is given to you, you will be promoted, more income will come, or another organization elsewhere will pay for that your ability, and you'll be able to earn more income and grow your career. Then should career growth be horizontal or vertical? I want to assume that here you are also referring to the point I mentioned earlier, that you can grow tall or you grow fat. Fat means learn, do rotation, do other things on the present level, while growing tall is advancing your career, moving to the next level by way of promotion or what have you. I want to believe that is what you're talking about here. Again, what determines your career growth here is the stuff you are made up of. What value, what skill do you have? How have you, developed yourself? What do you have? And again, you can do this by doing more at a level, getting job enrichment, volunteering, as we have all mentioned on this call, and ultimately that will push you to the next level because of what you have and that management can see or the business can see and all that. That will be my contribution there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Abisola is on the call now. So Abisola, please, just within 2 minutes or thereabout, what do you have to say on that? Meanwhile, for those who have questions, please, you can raise your virtual hand, then we'll take your question. The panelists will attend to that. Abisola, over to you.
Okay, Doctor has done a fantastic job already, actually, right? I think I'm just going to reiterate this. The job you have today is the most important thing you have, right? Don't fixate on the promotion. Trust me, if you do your job today excellently well, somebody would notice. And it is that somebody who would notice that would give you your next opportunity. Do you understand? Don't worry, you're earning a low income. I've taken jobs where I took a pay cut or sometimes the same level salary because I knew that that job would give me the breadth of experience that I need for the future. So, and in the accounting profession is one that would financially reward you over time, right? If you stay focused and you continue to add value. So like Doctor said, focus on adding value today, where you are today, that low income job you have today, do it excellently well. Somebody would notice. When I move from one company to another, I remember the great guys that I worked with, and I reach out to them when I have an opportunity and I ask them, would you like to come and join me? I'm at this new company now and I know you're great. Would you like to join me? The people that I worked with that did not add any value, I move on. I don't even remember them, in my next life. So don't worry, don't fixate about increasing your income. Fixate about doing great work. Fixate on doing excellent work and, adding value to the organization. Most organizations will reward you over time. Just be patient.
Thank you very much. Spot on. Thank you. Wow. What a response. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate that. Okay. I mean, obviously, I can't see any hand up asking question. So that means people already sent in their questions before now, and there are no other additional questions coming up. Maybe we'll just take about the last question, and then we'll have the parting shot from each of the panelists. Time is fast spent, actually, and then we'll do that. Just a minute. Okay, I think at this point, we've taken all the relevant questions that should be taken, really. So I would move on to each of the, okay, someone is about to ask a question. Okay, that's fine. All right, thank you. I will take you now. Your name is not here, so I didn't even know how to address you. Please unmute and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. My name is Clinton. I just joined some minutes ago. I don't know if my question has been answered. Hello? Hello?
Your name is what? I'm not sure I got that. Yes, I can hear you.
My name is Clinton. Okay. My question,
good, Clinton, go ahead.
I wanted to know how we get, because I'm at my professional stage at ICAN and I need practical experience. I don't know if to get good experience, I must work in an audit firm. I don't know if you get my question.
Yes, I got your question. Thank you. Let me, that's a finance related question. So doctor, over to you, sir.
Clinton, right? Thank you for the question. Let me start by saying not necessarily, but again, because of the fact that when you work in auditing firm, you are exposed to a lot of accounting issues, technical accounting. You from your point of view as an auditor, you understand what the preparer of financial statements have done. You understand the detail of IFRS. So generally speaking, people believe that if you want to be an accountant and you start your experience from an auditing firm, that you are naturally going to be a more robust candidate because of the level of exposure that you get in an auditing firm. But again, we have seen very great accountants that started off from the private practice, from the corporate world. You understand? But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Auditing firm gives you a level of exposure that you will not get in just one corporate. So that's why, generally speaking, I personally advise that if you want to go far in accounting world, it's preferable to start from an auditing firm, preferably the Big Four or any other medium auditing firm, to get this level of exposure and just build on if you eventually find yourself in the corporate world. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, I think that is sufficient. Collins, I guess, thank you so much for the question. So, I mean, in summary, you don't have to, go through an audit firm, just like Doctor said, but it's an advantage if you do have the opportunity, really. But you really do not have to go through that process. But if you have the opportunity, please, take it up and then build on it. That's what he has said. Thank you for the question. The next question is Joshua Ofiwe. Joshua Ofiwe, please, let's have your question.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Okay. Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, my question is this. I work in a bank, and I've been in marketing for like 3 years. I actually got chartered while I was in marketing. So, but the problem I have now is that, or should I say, fortunately, I got an opening and I took advantage of it to be transferred to the FinCon unit of the bank. But now I got my certification while I was still a marketer. So there was really no opportunity for me to use or utilize my accounting skills. And now that I am in financial control, it's a bit difficult to adjust. So I just wanted to know what do I really need to brush up on? Or are there like programs I need to rerun just to keep myself up to speed? Because there are like so many moving parts as it stands now in the FinCon department. From the fact that I came from marketing, having done marketing for more than 3 years, getting my qualification while I was the marketer. Now I'm in FinCon, and then it's as if there are so many moving parts. So I just need a little direction on that. Thank you. I don't know if my question is clear enough.
Very clear.
Yeah, so yeah, your question is clear. Yeah, please, Abisola, please go ahead. I was going to call you.
Okay, that's a brilliant question. And, congratulations on getting your qualification, whilst being in marketing. I think that says a lot about, your competence and your drive. And that's all you need, right, in any role, right? So what would happen over the course of your career is, even within accounting, you would get challenging opportunities that are completely different from what you know already. It will happen to you. So even in FinCon, you might be in a role today and you get moved into something else that will be totally new. I think the first thing that you should do is be transparent about the gap that you have. Then you have mentors within FinCon, build relationships within FinCon in that same team of people who have already been in that department, and start to understand what it takes to succeed and add value within FinCon in that organization, right? So at this point, you're not worried about, how do I become a rounded accountant overall? Your focus is, I'm in a department today. What do I need to learn in that department today so that I'm a valuable contributor? And the best people to advise you about that are the people that are already successful within FinCon in your organization. When you start having the conversations with them, they would guide you. Then you also have a line manager who needs to articulate to you what the job requirements are. Once you understand your job requirements, you would start
Hi, Abisola. Hello, Abisola. Can someone hear me, please?
Yes, we can. I think she's muted. Yes, I can hear you. She's
Oh.
muted.
Wow. Sorry, is muted. So you need to unmute. If you can hear us, your mic is muted. You need to unmute so that
it then prepares you for the next role, the next role, and the next role, right? So that's what
sorry, Abisola. It has happened again. Sorry, we lost you at some point.
Okay. At what point?
So, I think it was at the point where you said, but anyway, I think we're talking about the person
understanding my job requirements.
Okay, understanding your job requirements. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, apologies. I'm not in a very comfortable place. So what I was saying is, once you understand your job requirements, if I look at my job requirements, for example, and I say part of my job will be understanding taxation, and I don't have that skill today because I was in marketing, that immediately says to me that I probably need to take an online course on on taxation, or I need to do a physical course, or I need to connect with a friend who has that competence that can guide me. What I would advise is, don't focus on solving all of the problems within FinCon. They have recruited you to do a specific role. That's what you need to nail today. So understand the job requirements, identify the gaps that you have that impedes your ability to be able to deliver on that role today. Once you identify the gaps, fill those gaps as quickly as possible. Online training, physical training, getting a mentor that knows it already, who can guide you and teach you, or colleagues that have been doing the work that can guide you and teach you. Once you are able to fill that gap, then that's what you do for the next opportunity. So once you fill gap one, you get another opportunity in FinCon, whether a lateral move or a promotion, you do the same thing. You keep repeating, and that's how careers progress.
Thank you so much, Adefarati. I appreciate that. So let me take Bisola Akonde. Bisola Akonde, please, what is your question? Unmute and speak, please. Bisola Akonde, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for this program. It's really insightful. So I would love Abisola Adefarati to attend to my question. My question is simple. I'm a chartered accountant, I'm a chartered stockbroker, and I would love to get to the peak of my career by being a CFO. But I would love to know the nexus between investment banking and being a CFO. Do I need to have investment banking exposure before becoming a CFO? Is it necessary? Is it really related? I would love to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Doctor, do you want to go first?
So
Hi, Dr.
I think I mentioned earlier when I was talking to say that as a CFO, all you need is a bit of all. You know, a CFO is a generalist. You know, you need to have a knowledge of investment banking because at some point you may need to raise funds for the business, knowledge of corporate finance, knowledge of tax and all that. So you don't really need a particular course in investment banking to be a good CFO. All you need to know. Hello?
Experience. Hello?
Okay, Abisola is back. Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh my, did you hear me at all, or
No.
I was completely silent?
Yes, I just heard you now. You were not hearing me.
Okay. Okay, so let me give it a shot. What I said is, it is not a requirement. I don't have, that certification that you have, and I still got an opportunity to be a finance director. But what I was saying is, it's an added advantage. Any skill that we bring to a role that broadens our contribution to that role is the best thing that we can have. So even if it's not a requirement, but the organization can see that you bring in extra or broader experience that allows you to address problems from a broader perspective is an advantage, right? So what I would say is, it's great that you have it. Not all organizations would require it, but you may, of course, get an opportunity where it is that certification that will put you ahead of others and allow you to get that role that you so desire. So that's what I would say.
Wow, thank you very much. So Abisola, Conde, that's for you. Can digest that. I'm sure that is something you can think about. In summary, really, is not something that. Go ahead. Why don't you say something, Abisola?
No, I just wanted to say hi, namesake.
Okay, all right. So Abisola, Conde, that's for you. Thank you so much for the question. Somebody raised his or her hand earlier. Okay, the person is off. I mean, I've lowered it. That's fine. All right. So I do not think we have other questions, and our time is fast spent. At this point, I would like to, say a very big thank you again. Oh, Juliet. Okay, Juliet, please go ahead and ask your question.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for the program and opportunity.
You need to project a bit. We can't hear you. Please project a bit. Yeah, it's clear. I think it's clearer now. Yeah, it's clearer now.
Can I go ahead?
It's clearer now. Go ahead. Yes.
So my question is at Biola. For someone seeking an advancement in HR in terms of career progression in HR, what's the basics and how does one progress? Is it HR officer to an HR manager? And at every point in time, can you throw a bit of more light into what the basic skill set is needed?
Okay, Abiola, I think that's for you. I mean, Biola, please, could you please help answer that? That's HR, related.
Okay,
Hi,
Seyi,
Biola.
thanks. Hi. Okay, Juliet, I think the basic requirements would be for you to have probably get a certification in HR, maybe PHRI or SHRM certification. And then you also, it's not just getting a certification in that field, it's also trying to look for how to gather experience in that line. So you can, I can use myself as an example. I started my HR career as a business development officer in a consulting firm. Then I moved from business development into training L&D proper. And because I knew that the long-term goal for me was to probably own my own consulting firm, I then made it a point of duty to at least ensure that I get a bit of experience, or I gather a bit of experience in the different aspects of HR. So I was deliberate and I was intentional in terms of the kind of experience that I needed or I wanted for myself. So I moved from being an L&D specialist to being an HR consultant. I worked on different HR consulting projects. And I was quick to let my bosses know that my focus or my long-term plan was to build a career as an HR practitioner, not just as an HR, not just as a specialist, but more as a rounded HR practitioner. So what you can do, aside getting the certificates that you need, is then look for, be deliberate in terms of looking for jobs that are in alignment with what your long-term plan or your long-term goal is. So if your plan is to be more of a specialist, maybe an L&D specialist, a payroll specialist, or whichever one it is, then you pursue a career along that line. If your long-term plan is to become more of a generalist, then you also look for roles or vacancies or opportunities that will expose you to the kind of experience and knowledge that you would need for you to be able to achieve that. So I hope that answers your question, Juliet. I also need to make this point clear. I hear Abisola and Dr. Olanrewaju talk about us. So let's focus on what we have now. And that's actually very key and critical. But at the same time, while you are also focusing on what you have now, and I'm talking from the HR perspective, you also need to also think about the long term. So yes, I'm going to have to add value where I am now, prove to the people around me that I can do this and I'm competent enough. But you also need to think about where you want to be in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Because with that, it helps you to more or less focus on the skills, or more or less identify the skills or the competencies that will take you to where you want to be in the next 3 or 4 years. So it's important that, yes, we do what is required of us right now. At the same time, we also need to identify where we want to be in the next 3 to 4 years, because success will not just happen by accident, you know. So you have to be prepared for it. I mean, to aid your preparation is your ability to identify those things or where you want to be able to envision where you want to be in the next 3 to 4 years. All right, thank you, Seyi.
Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate your view. Well-rounded. Thank you so much. Thank you. I saw one hand by Biola. I think he or she has lowered the virtual hand. Okay, so all right. So thank you so much. That means we exhausted all the questions from all the participants. Thank you for your questions. Our time is fast spent. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating our time to be here. I'll allow each of the panelists to give the parting shot. So I will start with Prince. Prince, go ahead and let us have your parting shot for this webinar. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Seyi, and the panelists too for sharing ideas, and also to the audience too for the questions that have been asked. I mean, we also learned, even as panelists, right? All I'll just say is just keep doing what you know how to do best and be open to learn a whole lot more. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and you never can tell where the growth will come from. You have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, and bye, everyone.
Thank you, Prince. I sincerely appreciate. Over to you, Biola Ojo. Please, let's have your parting shot. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think it's, I just want to say this, learning can come in different ways. We learn, 70% of our learning actually takes place on the job. So we need to be humble enough to let all our other colleagues understand that, hey, I probably am not good in this particular area. Be humble enough to be willing to learn from whoever it is that seems to have superior knowledge at every point in time. And then 20% of our learning, we learn from classroom trainings. So also be open to invest in your own personal development. That's why it's called personal development, your self-development. Take ownership of your personal development. And then the last 10% is from mentoring and coaching. So also try to identify 1 or 2 coaches or mentors that can help you or guide you to the promised land. And I hope that from this session that we all would have learned 1 or 2 things. I have learned quite a lot of things from the panelists. And I'm sure that the same can be said of everyone that has been here. Thank you, Seyi, for putting this together once again.
All right, thank you so much, Biola. Thank you. Abisola Adefarati, please, can you let's have your parting shot? Abisola Adefarati, are you there? Okay, let me move on to Dr. Olanrewaju. Dr. Olanrewaju. Okay, Abisola is on the call.
Okay, Seyi,
Abisola, please, can we have your parting shot?
Hello,
all right, thank
can
you.
you hear me? Okay, I think for me, what I'm going to say is there's no, in your career, there's no substitute for hard work, right? And when I say hard work, it's not spending endless hours, doing the work. What I would say is smart work. So, and especially in the accounting profession, it takes quite a lot to be able to develop a career in that profession. It's tasking, it can be difficult, and I'm sure you guys already have the experience, but it pays off in the end if you work hard. You know, accounting is a profession that expects you to know a lot about first the profession, but also a lot about the business that you're supporting, because at the end of the day, we're actually supporting we're supporting other stakeholders within the organization, and it would take a lot from you. But what I would encourage is, if you keep at it, you would get the career of your dreams. It will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of studying. It will take a lot of working with other people. But at the end of that tunnel, really there is a bright light, is what I would say. And thanks to everyone that joined the call.
Thank you so much, Abisola. Sincerely appreciate your time and for sharing knowledge with us. Thank you. Dr. Olanrewaju is on the call now. Dr. Olanrewaju, please can we have a parting shot, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to the panelists and to everybody that have attended. My final word is to say that don't give up on your dream. Imagine where you want to be. Practicalize it, put actions to it, and don't close your mouth. Reach out as much as you can. Upskill yourself, learn and relearn. The sky will not be the limit. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Doctor. I sincerely appreciate. And personally, I want to say a very big thank you to the panelists for honoring this call, for taking our time to come out and share your experience and knowledge and impact above all. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you. And to everyone that has joined this call, I sincerely want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the team in the background. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. For me, this is, just a passion to add value, to make impact. And I thought of it that, get people who have experience to come share their knowledge and experience with people so others can grow. My understanding is that this is how life should be. We all need to grow together, and then the world become a better place for all of us. Thank you so much, everyone. And at this point in time, I would say we have come to an end of this, to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much, and do have a restful weekend. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.